Hello! I'm going to take you on a tour through my fish tanks to show you what's inside them. First off is a 55-gallon aquarium. It's freshwater. It's got a heater on the left and a light on the top, an air stone in the middle, and that's it. There's some plants and some clay that I use to root the plants in, but there's no filter because, as I explained in my video, Aquarium Life Support Chemistry, the plants are the ones that are getting rid of the ammonia. This tank sits over a stand, which is where I keep all of my live foods. I've got some vinegar eels, I've got some microworms living on oatmeal. This is, there we go. If you want microworms really easily, you just put a coffee filter on top of the oatmeal, and the worms will crawl through the coffee filter, and the oatmeal will not, so you'll get a nice... Now I have a spoonful of microworms. Yes, that is an easy way to harvest microworms. I'm just gonna put that in there. Okay. Alright. Anyway, so, vinegar eels are also really easy to culture. They're a little bit harder to harvest, which is why I prefer microworms, really, but, There's also a siphon that lets me refill tanks that have evaporated very easily by hooking that up to my sink. And there's some brine shrimp eggs and 72-hour heat packs for shipping the fish. Behind the tank is some cellulose fiber for shipping the fish. It's just a type of insulation and keeps the bag from rolling around. And some styrofoam and USPS priority shipping boxes for shipping the fish. Okay. Inside the tank, there's myriophyllum, which is a plant that really enjoys heated water, and Java moss, which does not, but is in here temporarily until this lady guppy gives birth, because there's a certain minimum of plant coverage that you need for a tank to protect the babies from being eaten once they're born. So once she gives birth, and I notice fry in the tank, I'm going to scoop her out and put her back in the tank with the adult guppies that are like her, and then her babies will grow up in this tank until they're big enough to not get eaten, and then they'll go in the tank with the adults as well. So, birthing tank. Alright, and it's heated because guppies give birth faster at higher temperatures, and the babies grow up better. And the light is a 5,500 lumen, 10,000 Kelvin colored white light. The water level's at half right now to protect the fry because there's not enough plants in here to keep them hidden if it's all the way filled up. And all of my tanks are at about 100 to 200 lumens per gallon of light. Okay, next up we have the Tower of Pygmy Sunfish. It's about as tall as a door, as you can see, the door. And it's about as wide as maybe a foot or two. And it holds the pygmy sunfish. The way to breed pygmy sunfish is to take the adults out of the tank and to put them in a different tank, and that prevents them from eating the babies. Their eggs take about 3 days to hatch, so within a week you should see movement of hatched babies. About a week later is when you judge whether or not you got babies. Alright, so here's some adult pygmy sunfish, and I'm going to show you their different colorations. A light colored dude means that he's not claiming territory. He either doesn't have eggs here or isn't trying to court a lady into the space. And a dark colored male means that he is claiming territory, so he is trying to either court a lady into the space or chase all fish away from the space as his eggs hatch. The guy protects the eggs. So during the 3 days in which his eggs need to hatch, he's going to chase everything away from this spot, and when he doesn't have eggs, he's going to try to court a lady into the spot. The ladies look like this. They are speckled or clear, and on this aragonite substrate, which is really just mostly glass with a few sprinkles of aragonite, they are mostly clear. Whoa, territory dispute. Okay, so this is a dark male chasing off a light male, and it's mostly done by communicating with the colors. This guy just wants to make sure that this clear guy gets out of his space, but you can see they're not really hurting one another. Most territory disputes are resolved without physical harm coming to the fish. You can see that there's not any nipped parts to his fins. He's just over there now. And they're very able to communicate without actually hurting one another. Yes, that's your space. Good job. Several males will claim territory. It depends on how dense the plants are, but in a 10-gallon tank you can usually get about 2 to 3 guys claiming territory. And they will be the ones reproducing. The fry are quite small. There were some over here that I videoed in another... What? No. Okay, I'm not going to try. But watch my other videos to see some fry. They're a little bit difficult to zoom in on, but you can do it, so. Okay. Oh, the fully grown fish are 1 inch long. They start to reach physical maturity at, like, reproductive maturity at a 1/2 inch long. Okay, so that's another tank. So I would just stick those adults in this tank to let every baby from that tank grow up to adulthood. You can get about 100 per month that way. And then that tank's in deconstruction mode, and that's flame moss. Okay, so I feed these Elosoma gilberti not with flake food, but with frozen bloodworms, which is a type of flying insect larva, with blackworms. You gotta be careful because I have found that blackworms, if they're living permanently in the tank, will eat Elosoma eggs. I learned that after I got a very low fry yield, so some of these tanks are in the process of being de-blackwormed, currently blackwormed, and the fry yield from this tank was just so low that they can't live in the tank with the Elosoma. Those are blackworms, by the way, that you're seeing now. So chopped up blackworms, but not whole blackworms. You won't get a lot of juveniles. Baby brine shrimp, grindle worms, mysis shrimp, and a few other things. Basically, if it's small and it wiggles, they'll eat it. Alright, so moving on. This is a bucket tank. I did an experiment after I got 6 babies to see if my fish just weren't making eggs. They are making eggs, but their eggs are being eaten by blackworms. Okay. This is where I hatch baby brine shrimp to feed my adult pygmy sunfish. And this is one of the towers of guppies. So, as I mentioned, the 55-gallon tank is a birthing tank. It takes about 2 months to get a batch of babies big enough so that they're not eaten by the adults. So 1 month, 2 months, depending on how quickly the lady gives birth after she is put into the tank. So you're only going to get like 40 babies per batch, maybe 20 babies per month from guppies. This is different than pygmy sunfish. You get 100 babies per month. But you have to be good about raising them. You have to add microworms every day or they'll die. So guppies, it's kind of like you can just feed them crushed flake. It's very difficult to fail with guppies unless you let them get eaten by the adults. That's the one major way to fail. So this is a heated 75-gallon tank where the lady gave birth on January 8th. It's February 16th now, so we're about a month and a week past their birth date. The lady had been in there. I'm pretty good at grabbing gravid females, so only a few days. And these are not yet big enough to put into the tank with the adults. I do have about a dozen of the babies from this batch were big enough to put into the tank with adults and are already in there, but these ones are just too small yet, so they don't all grow at the same rate. The plant is Myriophyllum. It's a lovely plant. It's very invasive if you were to take it outside. Never take anything from your aquarium outside. But it's useful in the aquarium to have a plant that is very hardy, because then I can simply put it in my kitty litter substrate, which is pure clay, under my 100 to 200 lumens per gallon of light, and I like the 10,000K color, and they don't care what color, so. And it will grow, and there's no filter on this tank. This mass of plants right here is the thing doing the work. And it's heated, because baby guppies grow faster at warm temperatures. Okay, the bottom tank is the adult blue lace guppy holding tank. I'm currently... okay. Sorry, I had to sit down. Okay, so I'm currently selling these fish for about $10 to $20 each. It's working out alright. I'm currently sold out because I only have 4 males left. You don't really want your population of guppies to get smaller than that for genetic diversity. And my method of outcrossing is that I put an unrelated female into the tank every year or two, and any dissimilar male I sell as is. Just take a picture of whatever they look like and sell them for what they are. And any similar male I keep and breed. So that is a great method of outcrossing because as long as you've got holding tanks that are available, you just pull out any male that doesn't look like your line, and then you can keep your line pure because there's both purebred males and purebred females in your tank, and just catch the guppy male before he gets a fully developed gonopodium. And yeah, it keeps your guppy line strong. Like you can see, I've got some really nice straight spines here and thick peduncles, and I also do a pretty good job of pulling out misshapen fish. This is an example misshapen fish that I did not pull out, but I'm definitely not going to breed her. But you can see that the spine gets kind of like crumpled and she almost has like a balloon shape. Not the straight spined one next to her, but that balloon shaped one. And so you just want to keep those guppies from breeding. Either give them away for free, or I guess you could kill them. Yeah. So make sure to keep your guppy line healthy by pulling out any misshapen spined fish, and add an unrelated female every year or so to keep their diversity up, because her daughters will be your reproducing females and they'll make hybrids. Okay, so that's my fish tank tour. I hope you liked it. Have a good fish tank time.